Good afternoon. This is Derek Klein with a severe weather special from ExtremeWeatherPredictions.com. And what we're going to be talking about today is the severe weather threat that we have across Oklahoma on Thursday afternoon. Does look like we may have a severe weather outbreak in Oklahoma, and this is kind of the area that we're looking at. As you notice, we have the enhanced risk area painted really from about I-40 to the north up into northern, northwestern, north central Oklahoma, and well on up into Kansas. In that orange area, I expect a risk of large hail, and even a few tornadoes do look to be possible, and all those thunderstorms are going to develop in advance of a dry line. You can see we have it painted on the map here across western Oklahoma, and as those thunderstorms develop, they'll quickly go severe Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening. As we head into Thursday night, the severe weather threat should transition from a large hail tornado threat into a large hail and high wind threat. So not so much in the way of a tornado threat as we head into Thursday night as those storms move into Oklahoma City. But that is something that we will continue to monitor. This area could shift a little bit to the east or west depending on the speed of the dry line as that mixes to the east on Thursday afternoon. Today, though, we're going to talk more about wind shear. You've heard meteorologists and forecasters talk about wind shear, and we want to show you exactly what it is we're talking about when we're looking into a potential severe weather outbreak. So this is actually for Thursday afternoon. This is taking a look at the winds at the surface or at the ground for Oklahoma. And as you can tell, here in central Oklahoma and up into Kansas, we have a strong south wind painted by the blue. That's winds of really 20 to 30 miles per hour with some gusts possibly up to 40 miles per hour. And it's also out of the south-southeast, so it has a tendency to be backing just a little bit to the southeast. It's what we call a backflow when we're doing our forecasting. And basically what that means is it's going to create an increase in lower level shear at the ground. And the shear that we're talking about is actually caused by a couple of different things. It's caused by wind changing direction as you go up into the atmosphere. So the higher up you go, the wind changes direction, and also by a change in speed. So the wind also will increase as you go up in the atmosphere. So we're going to take a look at that with the models today. So this is your surface winds, and pay attention to the way that the winds are out of the south-southeast at 20 to 30 miles per hour here in central Oklahoma, or 20 knots here in central Oklahoma and up into Kansas. So as we head up in the atmosphere, so we go up a little bit higher up into the atmosphere, this is the 850 millibar height. You can take a look at the winds here, and as you can tell, we have basically a due south wind now at 850 millibars, and the wind also increases really fairly drastically. We have some winds anywhere from 40 to 50, even 60 knot winds up at the 850 millibar level. Definitely would do some damage if it was blowing that hard down here at the surface. Thank goodness it's not, but again, that south wind, so we went from south-southeast to south, and the winds went from 20 knots to 50 knots as we went up to the next level in the atmosphere. So that's an increase in wind shear. This would actually be more in the lower levels of the atmosphere, but it is showing a very pronounced increase in wind shear, and that's the first thing that we're looking at when we're talking about the severe weather outbreak that we're expecting. So as we head a little bit higher up, this is more heading up into the jet stream. And this is kind of where we're taking a look at. This is at 500 millibars, and as you can tell here, the winds increase even more, and they also turn even more to the southwest. So this is what we call a southwest flow, and you can tell here that the winds, we have an 80 knot streak that's coming out here in the Texas Panhandle, and that'll shoot across Kansas as we head through the evening, and that'll be what's going to cause us the lift that we need, or the disturbance is going to push out with that 80 knot jet streak, and that's what's going to cause the lift in our thunderstorms to develop. And with that wind shear, that wind's going from the south-southeast to the southwest as you head up in the atmosphere, also increasing with speed, that's going to cause the air to be doing some turning. And so as these storms get going, they'll be doing some turning and some rotating due to that amount of wind shear that we just talked about in the atmosphere. So that's the main thing that we look at. Now, we get all this information from what's called a sounding or a weather balloon, and this is basically what one looks like. I want you not really to pay close attention to the green and red and blue lines on this map, but let's take a look on the right side of the map over here. As you can tell, basically what we're looking at, these are the winds as you head up in atmosphere. So basically right down here at the very bottom, this is at the surface, again a south wind or a south-southeast wind at about 25 miles per hour, so it will be windy. As you can tell, 1,000 millibars, 850 millibars. This is kind of what we were looking at on our map. As you can tell, the winds at 850 millibars. This is showing a 45 knot wind out of the south-southwest. So again, very windy. Here's our 500 millibars. You can tell this stuff goes way on up, but we kind of, for intensive purposes here, for this forecast, we're just going to take a look at 500 millibars. So 500 millibars, you can see the winds are at 55 knots or maybe even 60 knots. And again, the higher winds are actually kicking out a little bit later in the period of this forecast. But again, directly out of the southwest at this point. And so those are kind of what we look at when we talk about wind shear. Later on, as we head in towards Thursday, we're going to take a look at a few other things, including dew point and moisture content, also heating with lift indices, and also the cap. That's something that you've heard us talk about before, is having a strong cap. And so we're going to talk about all that stuff as we head towards this severe weather outbreak, and let you know what this severe weather outbreak is going to look like, and as we head in towards that time frame. So make sure just to stay tuned with ExtremeWeatherPredictions.com. Hope you like our severe weather outlook here that we've given to you. And if you have any questions about anything that we talked about, please feel free to post those on Facebook. We'd love to get back to you on those questions that you might have. Have a great day.